The billionaire lost everything, until his cleaning lady changed his life in seconds. The gun felt cold against Maxwell Reed's temple as tears streamed down his face. $3 billion gone. His empire crumbled. His family abandoned him. And now, standing on the edge of his penthouse balcony, 40 stories above Manhattan, he was about to end it all. But then she walked in. "Mr. Reed?" "I forgot my..." Elena Diaz froze, her eyes widening at the scene before her. The cleaning lady who had quietly maintained his luxurious penthouse for years was suddenly the only witness to his darkest moment. What happened next would not only save Maxwell's life but would reveal a secret that would shake the foundations of everything he thought he knew about wealth, power, and love. 3 months earlier, Maxwell Reed had it all. The tech mogul's face graced the cover of Fortune magazine for the 3rd time that year. His company, Quantum Sphere, had revolutionized artificial intelligence, making him one of the wealthiest men in America. His Instagram was a highlight reel of private jets, celebrity friends, and his gorgeous model wife, Vanessa. Another round for everyone. Maxwell shouted across his yacht party, champagne sloshing from his glass. "We're crushing it, people." But behind his designer sunglasses, Maxwell's eyes were hollow. Despite his billions, something felt empty. He'd built his empire by being ruthless, stepping on competitors, manipulating markets, and treating people like disposable assets. Elena Diaz was practically invisible to him then. Just another uniform that moved silently through his penthouse 3 times a week, cleaning up his messes without complaint. A single mother from Ecuador who spoke broken English and kept her eyes down when he passed. "You missed a spot," he'd say dismissively, not bothering to look at her face. What Maxwell didn't know was that Elena saw everything. The secret phone calls. The suspicious meetings. The documents he carelessly left scattered. And most importantly, she saw the loneliness behind his arrogance. Then came Black Thursday. Maxwell's company stock plummeted 87% in a single day after whistleblowers revealed that Quantum Sphere's AI had been built on stolen technology. The SEC froze his assets. Partners abandoned him. His board of directors voted him out of his own company. And Vanessa? She was gone before the market closed, taking half of whatever wasn't frozen in the divorce she'd apparently been planning for months. "You're nothing but a fraud," she hissed as she left. "Everyone knows it now." Within weeks, Maxwell's penthouse was the only asset he had left. His friends stopped calling. His social media became a wasteland of mockery and schadenfreude. The mighty had fallen, and America loved watching him burn. That's when he started noticing Elena. She still came 3 times a week, even though he could barely afford to pay her. She cleaned with the same quiet dignity, but now she occasionally left small things behind, a plate of homemade empanadas, a handwritten note with an encouraging quote, fresh flowers in a simple vase. "Why are you still here?" he finally asked her one day, his voice hoarse from disuse. "I'm broke." Everyone else jumped ship. Elena looked at him directly for perhaps the first time. "My mother taught me that a person's character isn't measured when they have everything, Mr. Reed. It's measured when they have nothing." Something about her words cut through his despair. That night, instead of drinking himself to sleep, he found himself looking through old photos, not of his yacht or mansions, but of his childhood. Before the money. Before the power. When he still knew how to smile without calculating what he'd gain from it. But the next morning brought another blow. His last remaining investors pulled out. His lawyers informed him that criminal charges were likely. The penthouse would be seized within days. That's when he decided to end it all. And now here he was, gun to his head, when Elena walked in. "Mr. Reed, please," she said softly, setting down her cleaning supplies. "This is not the answer." "You don't understand," he choked out. "I've lost everything. I'm about to go to prison. I'm a joke." Elena took a careful step forward. You haven't lost everything. You've lost money and status. Those things can be rebuilt. How would you know? He snapped. You clean houses for a living. Her eyes flashed with something, not anger, but strength. I fled a civil war with nothing but my daughter and the clothes on our backs. I worked 3 jobs while learning English at night. I sent my daughter to college even when we sometimes didn't have enough to eat. She took another step closer. Don't tell me I don't understand loss, Mr. Reed. The gun trembled in his hand. And there's something else you should know, Elena said, reaching slowly into her pocket. She pulled out a folded piece of paper. I found this last week while cleaning. I think someone wanted you to see it. Maxwell lowered the gun and took the paper with shaking hands. It was an internal memo from his former CFO to several board members, dated months before his downfall. It detailed a conspiracy to frame Maxwell for the technology theft, orchestrated by his trusted inner circle who wanted to take control of the company. This proves I was set up, he whispered, his mind racing. But why would you help me? I've been nothing but cruel to you. Elena's smile was gentle. Because I see who you could be, not just who you've been. In that moment, something broke open inside Maxwell Reed. Not just hope for redemption in business, but the realization that he'd been measuring his life by all the wrong metrics. The next few months transformed both their lives. With Elena's encouragement, Maxwell took the evidence to a journalist he trusted. The story exploded. The conspirators were exposed. His name wasn't fully cleared, but the truth was more complex than the simple villain narrative the public had embraced. Maxwell sold his remaining assets and used the money to start a small tech consulting firm. He worked 18-hour days rebuilding his reputation one client at a time. But now, he made time for things that mattered, like teaching coding classes at the community center where Elena's daughter volunteered. Elena continued cleaning houses, but now also managed Maxwell's modest new apartment and office. Their relationship evolved from employer-employee to friends to something deeper neither of them had expected. You saved my life, he told her one evening as they sat on his small balcony, watching the sunset over a much humbler view than his former penthouse. No, Elena replied, taking his hand. You saved your own life. I just reminded you that it was worth saving. 6 months after that terrible day on the balcony, Maxwell's new company landed its first major contract. That same night, he and Elena shared their first kiss. I was a billionaire who thought he had everything, Maxwell later told a reporter who covered his comeback story. But I had nothing that really mattered until I lost it all and found something real. Today, Maxwell Reed's new company focuses on ethical AI development, with profits shared among employees. He and Elena recently launched a foundation helping immigrants build tech careers. And every morning, they make coffee together in their modest apartment, rich in the ways that truly count. What few people knew was that Maxwell's journey back from the edge wasn't smooth. There were nights when the shame and humiliation threatened to overwhelm him again. One evening, after losing a potential client who'd heard about his past, Maxwell smashed his fist through a wall in frustration. I can't escape what I did, he shouted, his knuckles bleeding. Maybe I don't deserve to. Elena didn't flinch. Instead, she took his injured hand and gently wrapped it in a kitchen towel. The past doesn't define you unless you let it, she said. My grandmother had a saying, yesterday's rain can't wet you today unless you choose to stand in the puddles. Maxwell laughed through his tears. Your family has a lot of wisdom. We've had a lot of practice starting over, she replied. Their first Christmas together was in a small apartment that could have fit in the foyer of his former penthouse. Maxwell had worried about what to get Elena, the woman who had saved his life but wanted nothing material from him. In the end, he gave her a simple wooden box. Inside was a key. What's this for? She asked. It's the key to our new office building, he explained. I've put it in both our names. We're partners now, in every way. Elena's eyes filled with tears. Maxwell, I don't know anything about running a tech company. And I didn't know anything about being a decent human being until I met you, he replied. We'll figure it out together. The following spring brought another surprise when Elena's daughter, Lucia, graduated from Columbia with honors in computer science. Maxwell sat in the audience beside Elena, feeling a pride he'd never experienced with all his business accomplishments. She reminds me of you, he whispered to Elena as Lucia accepted her diploma. Brilliant and unstoppable. After the ceremony, Lucia approached them with news of her own. I've been offered a job at Quantum Sphere, she said hesitantly, watching Maxwell's reaction. The old Maxwell would have been bitter, would have tried to talk her out of working for the company that had betrayed him. Instead, he hugged her. They'd be lucky to have you. And maybe you can help them build something more ethical than I did. That night, as Elena slept beside him, Maxwell realized something profound. His greatest achievement wasn't the billions he'd made or lost. It wasn't even the new company he was building. It was learning that true wealth came from connection, from purpose, from loving someone more than yourself. 1 year to the day after Elena had found him with the gun, Maxwell took her to the community garden they'd helped establish in their neighborhood. Under a trellis covered in morning glories, he knelt and asked her to marry him. Are you sure? She asked, her voice trembling. People will talk. Let them, he said. The only opinion that matters to me now is yours. Their wedding was small but joyful. No celebrities, no press, just people who genuinely cared about them. Maxwell's former driver, who had stayed in touch even after losing his job, served as best man. Lucia was her mother's maid of honor. If you found this story touching, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us what truly matters in life. We'd love to know, what country are you watching from? Share in the comments below.